Yes.
How much?
There we go. There's Doug. We're good.
Let me tell her to try again.
There she is.
Yeah? There we go.
Oh, he's all duded up too.
Yeah.
He is.
He's dressed up.
Hey, everybody.
What's going on, Doug?
Merry Christmas. You got your Christmas tie on.
Yes, I do. Thank you for noticing.
Very nice.
All right.
Christmas tree.
Check plus. Check plus.
What?
You got to check plus.
Oh. There we go. We're good.
Good evening, everyone. It is 7:02 on December 21, 2020. This is the last of our regular scheduled Township Committee meetings. We've made it through Thanksgiving, finished up Hanukkah, we got Christmas coming up. One more meeting after that for approval of bills and some other housekeeping, and then on to 2021. I will recognize that we have a full attendance from the Township Committee tonight. Committeeman Hickey and Committeewoman Mureski are here with me at Town Hall, and remote Committeeman Stevenson and Committeewoman Fernandez participating by Zoom. Ms. Sullivan, may we please have the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News in Somerville, to the Burnsville News in Whippany, and then to all subscribers, posted here at the Municipal Building as of January 16th, 2020.
Great, thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, just as we've been starting off the meetings for several months, COVID-19 position right now, as I've checked on the county website and continue to check the emails that we get. We have a total of 159 confirmed cases in Bedminster. And once again, we were just talking a few minutes ago before the meeting started that it was only a while ago that we were in the 60s and 70s and we were staying at that range. And, sure enough, it was late fall. And numbers started going up. And there was a time during the summer when we were going a week, 2 weeks without getting any notification. And for the last, I'd say, month and a half at this point, maybe 2 months, it's been 3 a day, 4 a day. Now it's more remarkable on the days that we don't get a notice of a confirmed case. And also, unfortunately, we have been at 4 fatalities for several months. We are now at 5 fatalities. We didn't get a direct notice of a fatality, so I don't know if this is just a reassessment of a prior fatality that went from a non-COVID to a COVID fatality, or if it was something more recent. Usually if it's recent, we get the same notification that comes in from the county that you've been notified of a COVID fatality. Once again, there's very little we can do until the vaccine is readily available. We will be talking about the vaccine a little bit later in this meeting. But until then, practice social distancing, wear your mask, wash your hands. We have 2 minutes to approve. That's the December 7, 2020 regular Township Committee meeting via Zoom and the December 7, 2020 closed session meeting via Zoom. Are there any comments or questions regarding the minutes? Seeing none, then we have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Permits and raffles, we have none. Public comments.
I have no members of the public. I have Chief Rock joining us now and a message from our OEM coordinator that he will be joining us shortly.
Okay. Welcome, Chief Rock.
Oh, Zach might be trying to get in.
Hi, Chief.
Was
So-
Zach going to join us in person?
I thought he was
I
participating
sent
by
him the
Zoom.
Zoom link, but I just heard someone hit the door. Maybe not? Okay.
Okay. So if there's still no members of the public?
No.
All right, let's go to monthly report discussion by subcommittee chair. And we'll start with Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Happy holidays. Nothing to report on historic preservation. I think our next meeting might not even be till next year. So nothing really going on there. On DPW, nothing going on there at all either. Mother Nature left us alone recently. All kidding aside, once again, John Manns and the DPW department, out in force, really handled the storm with aplomb. And I woke up to blacktop, and I was surprised that I was surprised. You know what I mean? Like he always gets the job done. And once again, great job from DPW on that. They were out all night long. Other update is more on a facilities thing, but I, put it under DPW. Colin and I had a meeting earlier in the week with our IT director and DPW, trying to work out some logistics about getting some cooling down to the upgrades at the courthouse and police department down there. I don't want to get into specifics about that, given the nature of the building, but it looks like we're going to have to get a separate air conditioner, a smaller unit dedicated to where the key infrastructure is located. I won't pretend to get into the X's and O's of it. I'll defer to Colin on that for sure. But we had asked that, we price it out, and we'll be presenting that to the full committee. If not tonight, I don't know whether we got it on or not in the next meeting when we can. But it was a good, positive meeting. I think we got a really good solution that gets all of the concerns checked off at a relatively minimal expense with a better piece of equipment that will do the job beautifully. So I'm excited for that whole building down there. The makeover has been a really, really top-notch job. It's impressive. It's been quick. And again, thanks to John and his folks and all of our partners out there that we contract with. But that's it from DPW. If anybody's got any issues, again, with the plowing coming through, if there's a particularly bad pothole or something that you see, pick up the phone, call us. That's how stuff gets done. And we're looking to do, obviously, just that. So that's it. Thanks, Mayor.
Great, thank you. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. Just a couple of quick things. Committeewoman Fernandez and I have a meeting with the Rec Committee tomorrow evening, so we'll report out on that at our next meeting. Board of Health, there are no applications pending this month, so there will be no meeting. And Doug covered the joint IT DPW initiative. And as he mentioned, we'll have a readout on that probably at the next meeting in terms of some of the costs associated with that. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Committeewoman Moreski.
Thank you, Mayor. For Environmental Commission, just to let everybody know, on their next meeting, January 6th, Mara Tippett from Raritan Headwaters will be presenting on well testing. So anybody who's interested can participate by Zoom, and the information will be on the website. JVH, real quick, nothing much is going on because of COVID. Some things like the Colonial Christmas had to be canceled. That was actually due to weather, but still. So we're planning in January to start working on next year's programs. Hopefully we'll have some more information about how we can get together or not get together and organize the programs accordingly. Let's see, next, Black River Road. We got some new data. As we had mentioned last week, we had moved the speed signs a little farther out to give motorists a little more time to slow down to the posted speed limit coming into town. Based on that information, we've seen that moving the sign has had a positive effect on the traffic. Our engineer, Paul Ferraro, reviewed the data, and his conclusion is that the average speed dropped from 26 or 27 miles an hour to 23 miles an hour. The fifth percentile also dropped from 32 to 29. So considering that the residents don't want the speed humps, my suggestion would be to leave the speed signs there until next spring and see what the data says, because right now it seems to be working.
Renee, real quick. So I know there was the comment that the average speed was picking up bicyclists. So not sure if you or Chief Rock or Paul had looked into that. And I think the concept was taking out, to calculate the average, taking out the speeds that were registering at 15 miles and below, or something along those lines. Chief, you're on?
Mayor, yes, if I could speak to that, I spoke to the manufacturer, and there's really no way to set the data field, I'll call it, or the set, starting at like 20 miles an hour. So it's really hard to figure out. I do see some speeds on there, like a minimum speed of like 4 or 5 miles an hour. I'm sure it's the bicycle, but I don't have a count from, say 4 miles an hour to 15 to 20 miles an hour. There's no way to strip those numbers out.
Okay. And so, Chief, looking at the data from the new location, do you line up with Paul on his interpretation of the data as well?
Right. I mean, I ran the same set that we used prior to the move. I did a month prior, and then after the relocation, it was a little bit shorter than a month. I shared it with Paul, and the 85th percentile is, what I can work off of that. It was either there or a little bit below where the post thing, because I think you have a better sight picture where the sign is at now. We did have an issue once we moved the sign with losing the sun, and with the cloud cover we had a couple days where we went without power. So luckily John Mance ran up there and addressed it. So we repositioned the solar panel, and it's been seamless since.
Yeah, I will say I've driven up and down Black River Road in Pottersville, and I do agree that the new location of those signs is better situated for incoming traffic into the village itself. So right now, Committeewoman Rescue put out a recommendation: keep the signs in place and reevaluate the data in spring. And this may touch base something coming up later on in the meeting, which is repaving Black River Road. So and we'll come back to Renee's presentation. What is the timing for the paving activities there?
So we got a 2019 DOT grant, and now this year we got a 2020 DOT grant. They will both be combined for $550,000 towards paving of Black River Road. There's a section 1 portion of the project and a section 2 portion of the project, but we hope to get them both completed in 2021.
2021. So if there's going to be reevaluation of the speed hump, speed table issue,
Right.
the timeline that Renee is recommending, does that work with the
Yes.
engineering and design?
Yes. So the engineer, actually, we did an ordinance about a month or so ago for Paul Ferro to start the official planning of the project. He's obviously aware of the speed concerns up towards town, so we can incorporate them into the program.
Right, if we were to make a decision to
Right.
incorporate some
Right.
traffic calming,
Right.
additional traffic calming measures.
So the timing is really, really good.
Okay, so Renee put out some recommendations. Chief, what's your feeling on Committeewoman Moreski's recommendation?
As to leave, let the signs, and we'll revisit it in the spring, sir?
Yes.
Absolutely. And I also think, winter has a natural effect, with the snow and everything, it's going to have a natural effect, and you don't have as many people outside. So I don't know if we're going to get the continued speeding complaint, but I think that's the way to go at this point.
Okay, so let's do a quick informal poll. Committeeman Stevenson?
Absolutely makes perfect sense to me, Mayor.
Committeewoman Fernandez?
Yes, I agree. That makes total sense. Thank you.
Yes, I also think, just to dovetail with Chief's point, you're actually going to get a better snapshot because the bicycle traffic will be cut down significantly, except for the hardcore folks who are out there in the winter.
They're out there.
And
They're out there.
But the casual ones aren't. So you should see a real or a better snapshot of real traffic as opposed to it being biased with a lot of bicycle traffic. So you'll probably see the real speed over the course of the winter. So I think it's a great idea.
Okay, and I agree as well. So thank you, Committeewoman Mareski, for running with this. Let's certainly keep on for all business, so we don't lose sight of this. And Chief, if you and Paul can schedule to reconvene with Committeewoman Mareski for April?
Sounds good.
For April, and just at that point to do a reassessment of the speed data in Black River Road. Okay, thank you. Back to Committeewoman Mareski.
The last thing I have is regarding our van. We've been talking about what to do with the Bedminster van, especially since with the COVID rules, its use has been suspended. But with some input from both Judy and Robin, Gina and I were talking, and we think it's a good fill-in now to use the Somerset County Scoot van. The Scoot is for residents over 60 years of age and those over 18 who have disabilities. Contact information for the Scoot is already on our website. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can give us a call. I also did a quick little research for some of the grocery stores in case people still can't get out. King's, you can order online, call them directly, or order through Instacart for home delivery. There is an order processing and delivery charge, but the call in directly I think is important because if you don't have a computer or a smartphone, it's hard to get to some of these. ShopRite, unfortunately, is only an online delivery. But if you have a smartphone and a computer, you can access it, and then they will only have a delivery charge. Stop and Shop, they have online orders, and you can call in directly, but you call in through telegrocers for home delivery or pick up at the store. And again, they'll have a processing charge and a delivery charge for that. So at least that gives some people some options of how to get their groceries if they can't get out.
Okay.
And that's what I got.
And so I think we'll transition to Committeewoman Fernandez, who was also with you on that on the senior van program.
Right. So, just to piggyback on what Renee was saying, we looked at different resources for our seniors. We'd like to offer them better services, more reliable services that can go out. Our van currently can only service people if there are 4 people that want to ride the van at a time. So the county has a ton of resources, and actually we're going to work up a new resource guide just for seniors that includes transportation, food, pharmacy, and utility resources available for the seniors in Bedminster, and also information to contact the Somerset County Office of Aging. With the new normal, it's a reality for seniors that going out is going to be different for them for the near future. So we want to be able to provide better services, more inclusive services, and more efficient services for all of our seniors. And like I said, we're going to work on a resource guide specifically targeted for our seniors to let them know what's available. And again, doing everything we can to keep the same services, but also provide additional services for our seniors. So kind of replacing what we're giving them with something even better.
Great.
And just like, also to piggyback on what Colin said, the rec department will be meeting tomorrow to discuss our survey results, and hopefully we'll have some definitive answers, and we'll be able to report out on that in the new year.
Thank you. So on a couple matters, farmers market, the season is over, and just in time because the first non-farmers market Saturday, we had about 8 inches of snow on the ground, and I believe it was around 7 degrees at 8 or 8:30 in the morning. Renee, sorry, no one told you not to go that morning.
I was bundled up anyway.
But it was a great season. We will have some meetings just to discuss what worked, what didn't work, and what we can do better for next year. BHHC, Renee and I attended a meeting just a few weeks ago discussing BHHC, transfer of funds back to the Bedminster Affordable Housing Trust Fund and the management of those funds by the township and CGP&H, and also with advice and consult from the Bedminster Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, which we are populating. We've heard back from, at this point, every neighborhood
Every neighborhood. Cortland is still struggling.
except Cortland. Okay,
Right.
so every,
They have someone in mind. They don't have all the contact information.
okay, so we've heard from all the master associations. They've identified their representative, and we've heard from all other restricted neighborhoods
Correct.
other than Cortland who have identified their representative. And Gina and I discussed some representatives who will be there as township committee appointees as well. So that is moving forward. Land use. There was a special meeting last week for the Land Use Board. This is in furtherance of the master plan review and consideration of sites to satisfy the affordable housing obligation that Bedminster has with Fair Share Housing. That's for a total of 28 affordable rental units. 5 of those units will be satisfied by the elite development located on Lamington Road, which leaves 23 to be situated in an inclusionary development. The Land Use Board has been in discussions with a property owner and looking at zoning changes to make, to do exactly what the settlement says, is to zone for those units and when they get developed or if they get developed, but to make sure that the zoning is in place and that the zoning is real. So that's something that the Land Use Board continues to have discussions with. And the idea, I guess, eventually is that hopefully in January or February, the Land Use Board is in position to have a public hearing on the master plan revisions. And at that point, they will then refer the matter over to the Township Committee with a recommendation for adoption of an ordinance to put the zoning in place. There'll be a first read of that ordinance, gets referred back to the Planning Board for consistency determination with the master plan, which they will have just, hopefully, have revised the master plan to line up with that ordinance. Then it gets returned back to the Township Committee for the public hearing and vote. And if there's an approval at that point, then the zoning is in place. And John, I presume we would then satisfy our obligation under the Fair Share Housing Settlement.
It would, Mayor.
Thank you. So those are my subcommittee reports. And we do have a guest here. Our OEM coordinator, Zach Rubin, is here. So we talked about COVID and where we stand with the vaccine. So I'm going to ask Zach to do a couple things. I'm going to say, come to this side of the table so everyone out there can see your face with your mask. How was the fire? You guys had a fire call?
Car accident on 78.
Hopefully everyone's okay.
Injury, yep, one to the hospital.
Ooh.
But yep, everything is fine.
So I asked Zach to come here. Can you guys hear Zach?
Hold on, we're checking the mic.
It's red.
For what it's worth, I can hear him.
Okay, good.
Okay,
you.
good. You're good.
So, as everyone knows, the vaccine has been approved. The vaccine, or some doses of the vaccine, have been distributed to New Jersey. Prioritizations given to healthcare workers and first responders. So, Zach, from our OEM coordinator, is going to give us an update on where Bedminster first responders stand in line to get the vaccine.
Yep, thank you. So I have some notes prepared, but I'll ad lib and answer your question first. long-term care facilities are in Tier 1 and Tier 1A and Tier 1B. First responders are in Tier 1B. So we're still working with Somerset County OEM on when, right? So to answer your question as to the date, I don't have one. But we are prioritized, obviously, for distribution for our first responders. To further define first responders, Mayor, first responders are our ambulance drivers, our EMTs, our firefighters, as well as our DPW workers. So Bedminster doesn't have any long-term care facilities, so we're not necessarily worried about that. But we are kind of dusting off our point of distribution plan for the COVID vaccine. The plan had been in place before COVID-19 even existed, right? So it's something that we are prepared for, part of OEM's responsibility for the distribution of medication should the need arise. Our plan indicates that the distribution would happen right here at the DPW building. However, in all likelihood, it will be regionalized at RBCC, very similar to the way the COVID-19 testing is being done. But like I said, TBD in terms of a date.
Will that be administered through the county, or will the state run a separate program?
It will most likely come down through the state to the county.
Okay. And are police also included as first responders? Okay.
Yes, very good. Sorry, Chief Rock, you're on the list.
So what's the process? I mean, do individuals then have to register with the state or the county?
As of right now, so first of all, the vaccine is voluntary. I don't know if they're going to come out with recommendation that if you're not vaccinated, you should not ride. Whether that's going to come out at the county level, the local level, or the individual department level. Different for staff and volunteers. So volunteer perhaps, or staff perhaps would maybe be enforced. Volunteer may not be. But we are right now just gathering information as to whether or not, if you were offered one vaccine, would you take it? Would you sign up? Just to get numbers. It's an anonymous survey that was sent around, again, to first responders to fill out. And I haven't seen the results of that. That was something that was run by actually the county prosecutor's office. And then the next step would be, okay, we have our numbers. This is what we've been allocated. How do we prioritize? Because there's going to have to be a prioritization process as well for first responders, even in Tier 1B.
So that'll be 29 fire, 29 first aid, 63 fire,
Yes.
the police, and DPW. So
As of
that's
right now,
so
yes.
and that's anyone from township staff, anything else who's not otherwise already
Not
on
that
it?
I'm aware of yet.
Okay.
So there was a question on the county call. We have, we're fortunately down to weekly instead of daily county calls now, whether township committee or other officials would be included in Tier 1B, and that's yet to be determined. So I did ask Judy if there were people on staff who should be considered essential and be included on that list. I don't know if we're going to be able to get the vaccine, so I don't know if that's been put out or not.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of questions. When I ask just simply who's interested, I get a lot of questions that I can answer. So
Yeah.
until we get more information, I think.
Will there be some sort of rollout of information as some of the location, the timing? Will that come through OEM?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we can get that on the website. And yeah, well, so let's open up to questions from Township Committee and from the chief.
Zach, any indication about funding? Because I know when I was on a call on a Board of Health last month, the county was expressing some concern about, hey, we need funding to go buy freezers, to go store at least the Pfizer vaccine at, the sub-zero temperatures required. Have they unlocked that formula yet, or is it still in progress?
Nope, still in progress.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it, thanks.
good question.
Can I jump in with one here? Hey, Zach.
Doug?
First, thanks for everything you're doing. Appreciate all the hard work you're putting in. And who would have thought 2020 would have had all of this, right? But the question I have for you is, I understand that the vaccine is a two-part vaccine. And I just wonder whether, does that present any particular challenges about either making sure that those who come out for the first round actually follow up and come out for the second round to actually, to make sure that it's complete. And then, just to touch on Colin's point too, I understand that it's particularly finicky in terms of when you have to administer it. And it's almost, it's only good for a certain period of time. So is there any thought to, even if Raritan Valley offers it, to do something more local where we can have a little bit more control over the timing of the dosage to make sure that it's actually going to work?
Mm-hmm.
And forgive me if I'm putting you on the spot, and if it's to be determined, that's totally fine too. I just was going to try to just drill down on that. But thanks anyway, and look forward to your answer.
Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't put my foot in my mouth if I didn't know, and I don't know. What I've heard is that you have to be administered the dose somewhere between 21 and 28 days. So yes, it is a two-part series, and I don't know about how we would enforce a commitment to go back for the second dose if given the first dose, but I do know that we're planning on phasing the administration so that not all of 29 Rescue goes through the dose the same day, because there may be adverse effects of the first dose within the first couple of days, and you wouldn't want to have the whole department out at one given time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Zach.
Any other questions for OEM Coordinator Rubin?
I just wanted to just clarify that I just understood this correctly. So the first responders are tier 1B to receive the vaccine, and that may or may not take place here in Bedminster, right? But when it's available to the general public, it would most likely take place at like RVCC or a location. Is that correct? That's what you said? I just want to make sure I understood that correct.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a little bit of time before it's made available to the general public, and how distribution is done, I don't think I can speak to yet. Even if it could be done more locally than RVCC, perhaps at a primary care's office. But for the first round, they're they being the health department and the state OEM organizations, are being very careful as to who they allocate them to. So I wouldn't imagine that we would get an allotment here in Bedminster to be able to administer ourselves. I would imagine it would be more of a centralized distribution at RVCC.
Okay. And you said the timing is TBD. You don't know anything as far as that goes?
Yeah, TBD. Like I said, we've just begun to collect anonymous interest. It hasn't been like a sign-up sheet or any kind of allocation as to priority, even within the first responder community. They're just simply collecting data on who's interested.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for all that thorough info. Thank you for the thorough information.
Judy, Robin, any questions for Zach?
Just a comment, really. We have been getting phone calls from the public. Is it available? Where do I get it? What do I do? How do I get information? We did reach out to the Somerset County Health Department earlier this morning just to say, is there any kind of a place that we can direct residents to? They did give us an email address that we can direct residents to send messages to, and it is posted on our website, right on the homepage. We did that this morning. So
yeah, I would say that we're not any better than the next level up in terms of information, right? So I don't want to give any conflicting information. I mean, Google, right? I mean, I don't have anything that is like a top secret, source of information. But one thing I did want to say, and again, not top secret, you can look this up by municipality, but the 7-day moving average for COVID positive cases in Bedminster Township is back up to like April levels. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tripled since I've started getting the daily reports. So it's definitely still a significant threat to the community.
We were just talking about that just a few minutes ago. So Zach, thank you so much. And thank you for, once again, thank you for your service and your volunteerism and for taking care of that accident on Route 78, as you guys always do.
Thank you.
And you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting,
Maybe just outside of the camera shot.
but you don't have to. So with that, Judy, we'll turn to the administrator's report.
Yes, sir. Robin can even give us an update on this. We had a serious motor vehicle accident last Thursday, the 17th, during the snowstorm. And there was a large dump truck that had the dump body up, took down some lines across the highway at the River Road Light, popular location these days. And damage was incurred along the protective barrier that's over the hike and bike trail on the Raritan River Bridge, northbound, well, on the northbound side of 202, 206. So Mrs. Ray put out on our website and on Facebook, and she put it out to all the different communities through the hills, and so many people use the hike bike trail that it will be closed from Robertson Drive up to Miller Lane. It has, we hope it will be repaired soon, but it was significant damage, so.
So I'd seen the vehicles, I guess, doing the removal of the line. Was it the following morning? Was that Friday morning? Or was that Thursday morning that they were clearing that out?
I don't know, the chief can probably give you better info on this, of the serious accident Thursday?
We're talking about the wire that came down from the dump truck?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, it was only a salt spreader, and the operator raised the bed to get the salt further to the back so he could drop some more. And when he was bringing the bed down, he caught a guide wire that came across horizontally on 202, 206, and he actually snapped the pole and bringing it towards the roadway, went through our retention fence, protecting the hike and bike, and actually ended up alongside his truck. My understanding is it was only communication lines. And today I spoke with Verizon. They're gonna have a crew out there tomorrow to put the pole back up. And other than the safety fence, which rides along 202, 206, right along that traffic lane, the hike and bike should be able to be open again once the wires are all cleared out of there and the pole's back up. So it looks like tomorrow they're gonna be out there with the crew.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. Just a reminder, this evening is the last official meeting for the Township Committee this year. However, we will have, as the mayor said, a final end of the year meeting, which is tradition, just to finalize some final bills for the year on Tuesday, December 29th at 8:30 a.m. The chief at that time hopes to introduce 2 new police officers that he is hoping to hire at that meeting, and they will be sworn in to start their career with Bedminster Township on January 4th, but they will be appointed at that December 29th meeting. Robin Ray has been working with the Independence for Veterans Group, who's been doing a Christmas collection for veterans here. One of the drop-off locations is here at Town Hall. We're looking for drop-off of clothing, gift cards, and toiletries for this Christmas collection. It benefits local, homeless, and disabled veterans that are at both the Lions and the Glen Gardner Veterans Facilities. Currently, we're collecting items until Christmas, but it seems it just keeps coming. The community has been awesome, and the boxes just keep getting filled up. So we were trying to cut it off at Christmas, but it may even continue. So.
Just to add to that, so far today, from Bedminster Township, there's been $10,000 worth of donations in new clothing.
That's great.
$10,000 in donations, that's great. We received notification from the Board of Chosen Freeholders that they will be providing through the CARES grant funding to assist offsetting COVID-19 related expenses for the Bedminster School. They have to complete a memorandum of agreement, but once that is completed and returned, Somerset County will reallocate funding in the amount of $16,064.22. That will go to Bedminster School. And notification was provided to Superintendent Giordano last week, but we were also copied as the township on this good news. And lastly, along with the school, Bedminster School has graciously invited Bedminster Township to attend their reorganization meeting. Now, ours is currently set as a virtual meeting on Monday, January 4th at 7 p.m. The school will be having their meeting on Tuesday, January 5th at 6 p.m. And they have invited us if we'd like to participate or send representative to their meeting. They would welcome that. So I don't know. They said even if we've done meetings together before, did we want to do anything like that, or did we just want to send representatives? So I told them I'd get back to them tomorrow and let them know that we were going to talk about it. So I don't know, any input, any thoughts, any ideas? I know, Colin, you and the mayor both.
Yeah, I could certainly attend.
Normally go.
I'm happy to, whatever.
Who would want to go to a meeting led by, I think I might be there.
Oh, there you go.
Do we know what there is going to be? I mean, it says it's still.
So when they reached out, they aren't sure whether it's going to be a Zoom meeting, a virtual meeting, in-person meeting. The details were still not confirmed, but did we want to participate at any level? So I'm sure we'll send representatives of some level. Yes.
I'll go. Colin as the other rep, and Doug is probably going to be there in some form or another anyway.
Right. In the background, maybe.
Do we have to then notice it?
If there's 3 or more, I should mention, if you're not going to be taking official action as Bedminster Township, no, you're just there as participants, like going to a meeting.
Yeah, we don't.
So,
there's no discussion.
You're not there as Bedminster Township per se.
Just, I'm dotting my I's and crossing my T's.
So I will let them know that there will be representation.
And John hasn't taken
give us the
himself off
details.
mute to correct us, so we'll just keep
Okay.
rolling. You don't have to, John.
So that's all I have at this time.
Okay. Discussion on introduced ordinances, scheduled public hearings, introduction of ordinances, public hearing of ordinances. We do have the public hearing of an ordinance tonight. We have ordinance 2020-011. This ordinance authorizes appropriating $50,189 for various.
Actually, it's 51,189. Sorry.
51? Oh, all right. So we've got to correct that reference in the explanation versus the first paragraph.
That's okay.
Good catch.
It's corrected on the final copy that we
Okay.
have here.
So the ordinance authorizes appropriation of $51,189 for various capital facility improvements in Bedminster Township. Judy, any further details? And we talked about this at the last meeting as well.
Yeah, this was a request from Public Works Director Mance. He's currently working on a number of projects with buildings and grounds. This was money that was appropriated for the 2020 budget and had not been appropriate. We kind of held off officially appropriating until we were sure that it was actually needed. So he came forward and said, yep, I do need it to complete some of the projects. I think some of it could be used to finish up some of the things at the police department. And there are other things going on in some of our other buildings as well. So this would get him into the new year with his projects.
Okay, so, and these funds are otherwise already accounted for?
Yeah, this is
allocated?
not new money. This was just part of the 2020
Okay,
budget.
so can we have a motion to open the public hearing of ordinance 2020-011?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, so we've already talked about it. Does the Township Committee members, do the Township Committee members have further questions, comments regarding the ordinance?
Nope.
Seeing none, we will open the public comment section. Do we need a vote to go to?
No.
Okay, So members of the public, which may include OEM coordinator Zach Rubin, who is still behind the camera. Any questions, comments regarding ordinance 2020-011? You don't have to have any. Okay. Seeing no further comments or questions from the Township Committee, no further comments or questions from the public, may we have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 2020-011?
So moved.
Second.
Again, all in favor?
Aye. We have a motion to approve ordinance 2020-011.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski? Aye. Ms. Lisa Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you all.
We have one matter on the consent agenda. Are there any requests to remove that matter from the consent agenda? Seeing none, may we have motion to approve the items on the consent agenda, or item on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Again, roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Bresky? Aye. Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Okay, the next resolution, we have this is an oldie but a goodie. This is the resolution 2020-103, which would authorize the mayor and township to execute an interlocal agreement between the township of Bedminster and Somerset County to assist pedestrians in crossing Washington Valley Road. This is at the intersection of Hills Drive across from Timberbrook. So this would essentially connect Timberbrook right there across Washington Valley Road, landing right by where Hills Drive hits Washington Valley Road. We have discussed this. I think this is now the third time we've discussed this resolution. At the last meeting, we had asked John Bellardo to reach out to County Council because there were some provisions in that agreement that we did not find acceptable, particularly a provision regarding the township indemnifying the county for claims asserted regarding the installation and operation of that, whatever that thing is called, which is a beacon system. So, John, have you heard from County Council?
Mayor, I sent up a revised marked Word version of the agreement. I have not heard back from County Council DeMarco at all.
So my thought is until we hear back from County Council on our position to remove the indemnification provision, that we continue to table this resolution. I'll look to the Township Committee members for consensus or no consensus on that issue. You're nodding your head. Committee member Hickey is nodding his head.
There's no change.
Agreed to table until we hear from the county.
Committeewoman Moreski agrees to table.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Okay, so Judy, we will table this.
Okay, if Mr. Bellardo could let me know if and when he does here, we can move forward on another agenda.
So we do.
I will, Ms. Sullivan, and certainly it is the holiday season, so County Council may very well be busy or away.
Understood.
And our next meeting is December 29th, so this could be moved to the bill meeting
You
if
could?
we were to hear a response.
Yep.
I will say during the weekend, when in and around Timberbrook, Hills Drive, in the morning, in the afternoon, on the weekend as well, and on concept, that location seems appropriate for the pedestrian assistance that's proposed. There really is no great pedestrian connection from Timberbrook across the street. And so if there was something that made this convenient and safe, It's going to help folks get to Panettieri's, Fresh Market, Steck's Deli, and then further down the road, and even, as Renee mentioned, better connection between Timberbrook and the Hills neighborhoods themselves, and also the hike and bike and everything that goes on the other side. So in concept, I'm not opposed to what's being suggested here, but that idea of the indemnification is definitely problematic. And as both Judy and John have indicated, the JIF does not like Bedminster Township offering or agreeing to indemnification of third parties, even if that third party is the county. Next resolution is Resolution 2020-117, and there's three resolutions. So Resolution 117 authorizes the reappointment of Judge Catherine Howes as municipal court judge for the period of January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2023. So that's a
Three-year term.
Three-year term. Resolution 119 authorized the appointment of Stephen Davis as municipal prosecutor. And Resolution 2020-120 authorizes the appointment of Scott Mitzner as public defender for the shared municipal court. So we'll take each resolution individually, but first I'm going to turn it over to Committeeman Stevenson, who attended the most recent shared municipal court advisory committee meeting, the SIMSAC.
SIMSAC.
So Doug,
Yes, Mayor.
how'd that meeting go, and how does that reflect on these three resolutions?
Sure. The meeting was actually not too long at all. It was run very well by Ms. Sullivan. Thought Judy did a great job, but the crux of it was just to go through the responses to the proposals that the towns had received. Of course, under our shared court arrangement, each of the participating towns has the right to select its own judge, but you lose some of the savings when you do that. So the idea was just to make sure that each of the participants were on board with the continued services of these three folks. They've done very, very good work for us. And I will tell you that none of the participating towns, nor did we, have any objections to them. And in fact, I believe I've got this right, but Berners may have been separately working with one or more independently of joining the court. So it's a natural fit. The economics of the shared court, we're seeing a bit more, but it's not as a result of the shared court. If we didn't have the shared court, it would be exponentially more. So our uptick, because a lot of this is done by volume, our uptick is, we're going to see a little bit of a bump in the cost of the court. But if we didn't have all of our partners here, the cost would be multiples of what we're looking at. So it's a win for everybody. With everything, we're going to probably have some growing pains, and once we phase out of COVID, we are all in lockstep and all understand that it's a bit of a fluid situation. Just to tie back to a couple of meetings ago when we talked about the second window potentially installing down there, and that was raised, and everyone was in agreement that if that's what needs to happen, that sounds fine. So we're excited for what the future has to bring. I think there's maybe one other local town that perhaps could join in, and I think you'd have a really convenient, for sure, place in the area to resolve disputes. So everyone each of the towns are separately going to be adopting their own resolutions similar to what we're doing tonight, and it's my recommendation certainly that we approve these resolutions.
And Doug, just a real quick, for I guess Davis as municipal prosecutor and Mitzner as public defender, it's my understanding that everyone is keeping their rates flat.
There was no hourly rate increase.
There was no hourly rate
No.
increase. Okay, so I think that's important for everyone to recognize. So with that, first resolution is Resolution 2020-117, appointing municipal court judge for the period of January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2023. And that municipal court judge is Catherine E. Howes. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Ms. Marevsky.
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next resolution is resolution number 2020-119, appointing Stephen Davis of the DeFrancesco Bateman Koonsman Davis Lehrer and Flaum Law Firm as municipal prosecutor for the shared court for the period, of January 1, 2021 to December 31st, 2021. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Again, roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Ms. Marevsky.
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
And resolution 2021-20. This resolution appoints Scott Mitzner of the law firm of Mitzer and Mitzner as the public defender for the shared municipal court for that same time period, January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2021. May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Again, roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Ms. Marevsky.
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then the next resolution is something that we're going to turn over to Chief Rock real quickly. So this is resolution 2020-121. This resolution approves the participation by the Bedminster Township Police Department in the 1033 Military Surplus Program in 2021. Chief Rock?
Mayor, this is just a yearly resolution we need to pass to keep us in good standing in case we come across a piece of retired or unused military equipment, or not military equipment, from the federal government that, the police department or through OEM or something like that, that we might be able to use. So it just keeps our options open for different items that, instead of going to buy, if we were in need of something, we could look on their list and see what's available. If it's located, if we are able to receive it, then we'd have to go pick it up. We had a bad experience a couple years back where we received a huge generator. Turned out, you really can't try it before you bring it back home, and it had issues. So, this is just to allow us, in case we would actually need something and it becomes available, that we might stake claim to it. It's, overseen by the state police through the federal government.
So just to reiterate, this is something that has, come up on some notoriety over the last year about police departments taking on military equipment and deploying them in civilian capacities. Just as the chief mentioned, well, he's not looking to get a tank. At least he hasn't articulated that. Not yet. Or a fighter jet. He might like that. But it could be generators. It could be trailers. It could be something that could be deployed of a routine and perhaps even mundane nature, but it's equipment that is surplus.
Could be speed signs.
It could be speed signs,
That would be
for those
It could be a desk.
in Fort Dix.
If we could get a desk.
Bring one over. So that's the type of activities we're looking at. So when others may be viewing this meeting, they're like, oh, what is Bedminster doing? They're doing something again. That chief is up to something. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for good stuff that we can use. The generators, hopefully if a good generator comes our way, it doesn't end up being a boondoggle like what the last one was. All right, so having said that, do we have a motion to approve resolution 2020-121?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Bill list, may we have a motion to approve the bill list pending review of individual invoices?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Ms. Moreski. Aye. Ms. Fernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now the meeting is really going to start taking off now. Discussion items. Any matters that the Township Committee wants to put out there for discussion and public input?
Nope.
New business. Any items that Township Committee members want to put up for new business? Old business. Senior van program, front and center. So we heard earlier from both Committeewoman Fernandez and Committeewoman Moreski on the senior van program. So do we have a recommendation? Is there something that we need to put into effect? Judy, where do you want to go with this?
So what we were hoping to do would be to replace our current senior van program, which is, a van that only goes out with 4 or more riders, hasn't gone out since July. We do employ a part-time driver who hasn't worked since July. So this would allow that driver to maybe seek other options.
Have there been calls since July, but we just don't have 4?
Not really. We had one of the senior van riders called actually today, and we were, oh, look, there's maybe interest. And he just called to wish the staff happy holidays. No, we haven't had, we might get a question once in a while, but we haven't really had any need. We've asked, do you need any groceries? Do you need any pharmacy supplies? Can we help you? No, I have other people that help me with that. So it was more just, a way to get out of the house and not able to do it at this time.
So I think that's a pretty important piece, that there's been no calls since July.
No.
That's July, August, September, October, November, December. Here we are. The concern had been that in COVID, right? So seniors, which are sensitive and perhaps rightly so, a little more cautious about heading out to public places, that the food shopping, that they were using the senior van to get to the ShopRite or any of the ShopRites, that is being taken care of. So there hasn't been a request to go out in that July timeframe.
We have received, I don't want to lie, a once in a blue moon call, is the van going out today? And again, without at least 4 riders, we don't go out, and we haven't had 4 people to ask on a given day. But then our response would be, do you need anything? You're the only one, but do you need something? Maybe we can help you in some way. And oh no, I have, I'm fine. I have other people that help me with getting food, or my daughter helps me, or my neighbor helps me, or, some of them even drive on their own. This is just something social,
Okay. And we share this service with PPAC or Far Hills?
PPAC does share the van when they have someone resident from their town use our service. They pay us per rider for the day. They have 3 people registered for the program. That's all.
And there's been no phone calls?
No, none.
From PPAC. So where do we go from here? So the plan is to change the program.
So we are currently, Robin's been working with Gina and Renee to put together this resource program, like a little pamphlet that we would then send out to all the people that are registered for the senior van. And,
There's a pamphlet?
and anyone else? Anyone else that, we can post the information on the website. We can mail it out through, through the Friday folders with the school. We can community pass. We have lots of options, but get the word out and let them know that we're replacing our current program with the county scoot program and all the other options that we'll be showing them.
Right. So go ahead.
Go ahead, Gina.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
that
Okay.
we need to close some closure here as far as the current program that we have.
We need to turn this program off.
So, like I was saying before, I think the new normal for seniors right now, the reality of things is that they're not necessarily going out as much as they were. Our van is being underutilized, and we'd like to offer or let our make our seniors aware of all the services that are available to them. And we thought the best way to do that would be to replace our program with an even better program that the county offers. They have trips to the supermarket. Oh, you can't see because I have the background. The supermarket, medical appointments, support groups, existing like NJ Transit, grocery shopping, which mainly our van is just utilized, has been utilized the past, I don't know however many times, specifically for grocery shopping. But they have, the county has transportation to employment, non-competitive employment, group recreation, which probably isn't happening right now. And there's just a small fee associated. And I wanted to kind of throw it out there to Township Committee if there's a way that if it's a donation that's requested, but perhaps we can subsidize it somehow so that our residents continue to use this program for free, because our van is free to them. So I just want to make sure that is clear, that we're going to just be replacing the service with an even better service, and it'll continue to be free to our residents in Bedminster.
We currently, our budget is about $10,000 for the senior van program. We could reallocate those funds, maybe with some sort of an agreement with some of the other services, so that our seniors, like we have a quarterly $2,500 credit with some of these groups that they would then invoice us, for.
So for example, if it's going to be the county program, and Renee just distributed the rate sheet for the county's, actually says they're called donations, but there are suggested payments there, and it's called a fare schedule. So I certainly would be supportive of taking the funds that we currently allocate to the senior van program and reallocate them, or just as we're talking about tweaking the program and put those funds into here. So once again, that this participation would be at no cost to
And this new
residents.
program, they'll take them to the doctor, they'll take them to the hairdresser, they'll take them to, other places, just the grocery store.
And not to make this more complicated, but one of those organizations I mentioned earlier, the telegrocers, they actually have set up with other towns funds for their elderly to call, and that takes care of that processing charge. They don't want to get rid of the delivery charge to the homeowner, but at least then we could, whatever the $15 or $10 a person, we might be able to throw that into that pot of money, since we don't use it that often. That might be an option for us too.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's how we're going to proceed, does this require resolution? Is this consensus? Is this something we need to do in 2021?
Well, it would be a policy decision tonight that we would bring the current program to a close and replace it with this new, better program, and it would allow us to use those funds for a new purpose in the 2021 budget.
So we would keep, for the 2021 budget, we would still keep whether we call it senior van program or whatever name we come up with it.
Senior services.
Senior services still gets allocated the $10,000, but.
Yeah, it's not that we're trying to save any money. We're just trying to better the service.
Right. Okay. So since this is policy, not a resolution, let's start with Committeewoman Fernandez.
Okay, well, I support this. I think it's a great service. I think that by making our residents aware through a flyer or a pamphlet of all the services that are available to them, they'll be more utilized than what is currently being underutilized, and available to all our seniors. So it's not just a certain income bracket. Someone could be a senior and just not drive. So this is really, just opening it up to all of our seniors and reallocating the funds for better usage. And so I agree with it and I support it.
Great. Committeeman Hickey,
Changing it up tonight,
moving
Mayor.
around.
Just a question and a comment. The comment being, Committeewoman Fernandez and Committeewoman Moreski had mentioned before, flyers, I would encourage that because not all the folks who are the target audience for this are necessarily going to be on email or on smartphones. So perhaps distributing the flyers, but going door to door in Pluckman Park or including it in the tax, whatever we're going to do. The more ways we can get the.
Yeah, we have a mailing list in Pluckman Park. We can make sure they all get one,
Right.
but then we also have a distribution list of all the people that have used the program in the past.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So we can push it out that way as well. So they get a hard copy, they can keep
Then
it
we
there.
get a mailing.
Perfect. And then my question was, the asset itself, in terms of the senior van, can it be repurposed? Our OEM director here may have some ideas what we might be able to do with that, if it's still going to be around, still usable.
We might send it to the military as Bedminster surplus.
Hey, if we get money for it, they'll pay?
I mean, can I just chime in real quick about that? I wouldn't necessarily get rid of it just yet because this is sort of a temporary basis. We're going to try out this new program and make sure it's satisfactory to our seniors and our residents. So I don't think I would just get rid of it just yet in case we do have to go back to our own senior van for any reason. This is just kind of temporary. Let's try it out and see how it goes and see how it's accepted by our residents first. That would be my suggestion.
And Gene, I was saying if we can repurpose it for something else, we can use it, not taking it away or not selling it. If it can be put to good use for a different organization within the township, let's think about that.
John's already got a plow attached to it, so.
Farmer's market.
The Farmers Market Fund Van.
Certainly a good asset to keep.
Yeah,
I can imagine emergency uses for it.
right.
It's not a party bus, Zach. I know what you meant by emergency. I know what you meant by that.
A shuttle to the cidery.
Committeeman Stevenson.
Just no comments, no objections. I guess one comment, no objections. My comment is to just thank Committeewoman Moreski and Committeewoman Fernandez on the work and having the vision and trying to pivot off of this. And it's look, it's just another example of shared service, trying to do more with less. And it just kind of stinks that it's COVID and we're rolling this out during a period of time where people don't want to get on buses with one another, but that also gives us an opportunity, and it's already been said. So message it, let's get it out there. But I think it's a great job, and it's a great landing spot for the folks in town that need it the most. So great job, guys.
Great. Committeewoman Moreski.
I wholeheartedly support not using that van that seems to drip on people when the air conditioning is running for a van that is comfortable and will take them basically where they need to go, and to a bunch of different places that our van just doesn't go. And I think our seniors deserve it, and we have the money at our beck and call, and I think we should use it.
Great, and I will agree. This seems to be certainly an improvement of service. And if we can take the funds that we would otherwise put to the operation of the senior van, put them in to offset any expense that is charged by the county, just as Committeewoman Moreski said, gets them better service, and we're going to take care of the expense. This is no brainer, and I do want to thank Committeewoman Moreski and Committeewoman Fernandez for taking this on, and it was just, what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
2 weeks ago, and this is, what I think is just a great resolution. So thank you
And thanks
both.
to Judy and Robin.
Oh, yeah,
They did a lot of the work too.
all right. So next, COVID-19 emergency. We talked about that. Short-term rentals. We're going to push off on that. Engine braking. We're going to push off on that. Pluckman Park. Doug, any update from discussions with the folks over at Pluckman Park?
If with your consent, I'd like to tease it to another day.
Okay.
It's not quite developed yet.
Okay. JCP&L.
It was quiet last week during the snowstorm there. For that, we were thankful. But no, let me tell you, our rep, Carol Bianchi, had reached out to me prior to the storm, telling me that they were well prepared, had learned from, obviously, the tropical storm in August, and had made a lot of provisions to address anything that could come up. But we were fortunate that seems to be that the outages were minimal, if any, so we will keep an eye on it and move forward from there.
Great. Which brings us to Township Committee comments. We do have an executive session tonight, and we do have 3 resolutions that we will be considering after executive session. So what we'll do is we'll go through Township Committee comments. We'll take a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Then you'll have to come back to this meeting.
We will come back to this meeting. So
So keep the link handy.
keep this link open through the Township Committee members and for
Well, no, I have
members
to
of the
close
public.
it, but then we can reopen it after. I can't have 2 going at the same time,
Yeah, so we're going to turn this off.
but then we'll come back.
This Zoom session will be suspended.
Correct.
We will start up and looking at what we have for executive session. Let me figure this about 45 minutes
You said it.
or
Let's take
less,
The over-under on that?
I hope. Okay, so we'll start with Township Committee comments. Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to say happy holidays to everybody. Stay safe out there. And just with respect to the vaccine, it's coming in our future. It's wonderful news, certainly, but it's not a time to stop being vigilant. You know, I was so happy, Mayor, earlier in the meeting you mentioned, and you came full circle and you stressed, let's keep our social distancing, let's keep our hand washing going, wear your masks. You know, in my life and under my roof, you know, everything sort of gets analogized to sports. So this would be our red zone execution. Let's make sure we do it right. You know, let's see it through, be vigilant, and hopefully when it rolls out and you know, next spring, summer, we're able to just move on with our lives. So let's not be foolish or take, you know, silly risks. We heard from Zach earlier today that the numbers in town, you know, in our neighborhoods, amongst our friends, it's here. Okay, it's very much here. So be vigilant, and hopefully those 2 concepts merge together and everybody has a happy and safe holiday. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Committeewoman Fernandez.
She wasn't ready.
Sorry, I was muted. No, I just wanted to, as the year's come to an end, it's coming to an end, and it's been one heck of a year. I just wanted to say kudos to Bedminster, the township, all the employees, all the residents. Really, everybody's pitched in to make this year that was quite an eventful year. Work coming together. We've seen our residents, donating to our food pantry, really, having each other's back, helping everyone. Here at Bedminster, we created a resource list. Everyone contributed. We had a blood drive. We did pre-dump day. The farmers market, people were able to get out of the house and attend that. And it's just been really a community effort. And it's really nice to live in such a community. I'm very proud to live in Bedminster and proud of how, in such a terrible time, how we handled things here. Everybody, us, the employees, the residents, everyone. It just came together. Such a nice community. And I just wish everyone a happy and safe holiday. And we'll see you next year. I'll see you in 45 minutes, but I'm saying everyone else, I'll see you next year.
Committeewoman Moreski.
I'd like to echo what Doug and Gina have already said. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. And please, when you're wearing your mask, which I know everybody does, please pull it up over your nose, wear it correctly. I'm in the mall for one of my many jobs, and I notice many people not wearing them properly. And with the numbers climbing up, please just sneak it over your nose. Take care, everyone.
Good point. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. It's hard enough to follow Committeeman Stevenson. Now you make me follow Committeewoman Moreski and Fernandez. And matter of fact, I had on my notes, and I'm sure Gina must be reading them over the camera, community coming together. So I'm just going to echo what she said, which is, we provide some of the framework, be it the food drive or the blood drive or the farmer's market or the VA donations that we're just talking about. But it's the community and the employees that come together time and time and time again to help out. And it's an amazing response. And I just want to say thank you. It just speaks volumes to what Bedminster is all about. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So as I started the meeting, We're coming up to Christmas and New Year's. Good riddance to 2020. Here's to a much better 2021. Unfortunately, we can't do the Betty Merck dinner this year, but we will try to, well, let's put this. We're not going to do the Betty Merck dinner at the reorganization. My plan is that we will have a Betty Merck dinner to bring residents together, to break bread and have a toast later in 2021. So we will do that. Once again, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We've motioned to go to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we will see you there and we will be back. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Colin moved mine.
Because you need it for land use.